Hello everyone, thank you for joining again. I hope you like today's topic. Today we're going to talk about some different websites to help you with your studying. Just get that there loading, great. So as you can see, we're going to look at 4 websites that are going to help you to boost your TOEFL score. First, a bit about me. So I studied linguistics and education at university, and after that I've been working with adults teaching English as a second language for 8 years now. With the TOEFL, I teach all the different sections. That's listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Today we're going to look at a few of those and some websites that help with them. And I'm just like you guys out there, I'm also learning. My second language, my main one at the moment, is Spanish, trying to improve my fluency with that and my other skills. And I've just started with Mandarin, Chinese. So when I say things like that, some of my friends, my family members, they say, "Ah, well, of course you speak different languages. You're good at that, and so that's why you became a teacher. Makes sense." But the true story is it's the other way around. I wasn't so good at learning languages, but was so interested in them. And then once I studied about linguistics, about education, that was when I realized the best ways to study. And it helped me so much. So today I'm going to share some great websites that can help you get in on some of these secrets, because trust me, it's definitely not only a question of talent for learning languages, it's about having the right resources and using them enough to build those skills. So today, what we're going to aim for, strengthen your TOEFL studies, your English fluency with these multiple resources. We want you to know how to improve your weaknesses and build your confidence, looking at these websites with the target of English fluency. If you want even more information and more resources, more links, advice, you want me to answer your questions, then please sign up. We have still got our discount going, $9 for 30 minutes of a trial lesson with me and our other teachers. Joanna, my student, was studying last year and she was really frustrated, got into a bit of a rut, didn't know how to study a different way to get past the limits she had to get to the score she needed, so she would be able to work as an architect in the US. And we worked together a few weeks, and then she had a few months to work with those resources, and that was what she needed. She had the push, she had what she needed to study with, and then she got that score. She didn't really think she was going to get it, and had even discussed saying she wanted to book some more classes, and in the end she got it, so we didn't need to have any more. But it was good to catch up and to see how she was going and her plans for becoming an architect. Now let's get into it. Everyone's story is different. Okay, so as I just said for Joanna, the classes we did first, then it was a couple of months working with those resources. Some students, it's immediate. They have a few weeks of class, they do the test immediately after those classes, and they get their score. Some people, they might need to take a bit of a break, or just might need to work on some skills for a bit of a longer time, like Joanna, and then they're able to do it. For others, they might realize that there are some things that need even more time, and so They decide, okay, I'm gonna give it 6 months or even longer. So here we can see some people a few days, others for years. That's the start point, that's the end point there. I've been studying Spanish now for years, for 4 years actually. So still things that I need to improve. If I had to do a TOEFL but in Spanish, then I think I would still need to improve a few skills there. I have what I need for everyday life, but it's going to be another thing if I try to put myself under time constraints and stop my pauses. I'm not sure if I am ready. Maybe I should try a TOEFL speaking response in Spanish and see how I go. Now, these websites that we're going to share with you, they cover 5 different aspects here: score, memory, vocabulary, academic writing, and fluency. I mean, obviously those 4 underneath, if those are doing well, then it adds up to help with the score. First one is one called LingQ. This I've been using a bit with Spanish actually, and really like it. I love reading, and it's been so fun to find some different stories here and to read through them. Now, we call this extensive reading, when you enjoy reading something and you're reading it to improve your fluency in reading and understanding vocabulary at the same time. So in order for you to work on extensive reading, you need to pick the right level of writing, of text, of resources. So I usually try to tell my students a good way to work that out is for every sentence that they read, there's usually one word that they're not completely sure about on average. So there's going to be some sentences that you know them all, and other sentences where there's one word, or maybe another sentence where there could be 2, but there shouldn't really be 2. There should be 1 or less words per sentence that you haven't learned yet. So what that looks like is here. We can see this is someone who knows 95% of this text. And if we look then, it's 1 word in this sentence. Next sentence is all good. Then this sentence, 1 that isn't known. This one's good. 1, 2 in this one. Oh, actually 3, but it's a very long sentence there. So you can see there that this would be perfect text for this person. They don't know these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences. So that means it's a very good level for them to be reading. There is so much other language here that they're not going to stop and have to look up these other words. They're going to be able to just keep going and work on learning through context and work on reading faster, working on that fluency there. Okay. If you think you want to test yourself a bit more, maybe you have less words, then we could look at 90%. However, as you can see here, it's not so easy to be able to work out what's happening. You can kind of guess, but it's not going to be as effective as if you knew 95% there. So this would be good for actually studying a text, and you're sitting there, you say, I want to read this in order to learn as much as possible, then this would be a good level, but it's not the best for extensive reading, and even less than this one. It's hardly reading at all. It's more looking in the dictionary than actually reading. So just to reiterate there, extensive reading, best case scenario, is that you know 95% of it, so you're not having to stop and start. You just keep reading, work on reading faster, understanding more, working out what that word is that you haven't seen before. And this is the difference between we have intensive reading and extensive. Well, not just reading, all types of practice. Intensive is the one where you say, okay, I am definitely learning now. Get my notebook, let's concentrate, let's put this in my schedule. It's homework. It's your TOEFL test practices, your academic books, listening to lectures, doing practice activities for the TOEFL, doing TOEFL classes. All of that is very specific for your goal. You are on 100% knowing you are studying. On the other side, extensive is when we are practicing, but we're also enjoying something. And we might not notice that we're learning things because we're having a good time. Watching movies, of course, so many students love to tell me about the movie they've seen on the weekend. Reading a book, so that's where Link Q comes in, that you can read something at a good level for you and enjoy it. Listening to podcasts. I love podcasts. They're so great. I don't think I've listened to so many since the quarantine started because I'm not walking as much. But sometimes when I'm cooking or doing other things, it's good to have something that I can listen to with my headphones and time passes quicker. Listening to music, watching YouTube videos like you're doing now. So all of those things are extensive. It's really good for you to have a mix of both as you're studying, as you're preparing for your TOEFL. Make sure you get in your intensive work, of course, but as you get a bit tired and you think, okay, I've done enough for today, but I still have some spare time, think about something on the extensive side. So you can still be immersed in English, still be practicing in some ways, but it's a little bit more relaxed. Glossika is more for speaking. This I just started myself. I tried it out a few hours ago and I like it so far. I did a test to see what level I was in for Spanish. I got B2. So pretty happy with that. I might have gotten further, but I think that's the level you have to start at. So for you guys, you'll need to do a test as well, see what level you're up to, and then you start learning some new phrases. You listen to them, you repeat them, and you type them as well. So there is so much repetition here. It really helps to lock things in. And once it's there, with so much repetition, it's in your head, then you're going to be able to say it so quickly. You're not going to have to actually pause and think what is the next word because you have it. It's complete and it's really fast. So I was just learning a few phrases there and I feel like because I repeated them so many times, I'm definitely not going to forget them anytime soon. And probably I'll surprise my Spanish teacher next week. If I use some of those, she'll say, I didn't teach you that. Where did that come from? I'll have to share this resource with her. So here's an example. You can have a look. It's in Japanese here, so I can't read it for you. Where's the post office in English? You'll hear that. Then you will also hear it in Japanese, and you're going to have to type what you hear there. And also good for you to say it. Try to imitate it, this one, as close as possible. Then after you have done it, it shows you how you're going. It says what you are remembering and what percentage. Maybe you need to review some things, do them again. You can decide to review, you can decide to look at new ones, and you can look at different topics depending on what you feel like that day. So again, this is going to be in your extensive learning. You're going to do this as you feel like it and you're going to enjoy it. Quizlet. This is something I recommend to so many of my students because I love making flashcards for myself. Flashcards, if you don't know, it's when you have a piece of cardboard. I mean, in the old days before computers, you had a piece of cardboard on one side, you've got a word, on the back, you've got the definition. And it's a good way to test yourself to get ready for a test. I used to do this when I was studying chemistry. That was the first time I used flashcards because I couldn't remember all of the periodic table. I was always thinking, wait, what's that one? What's the next one here? And all of this, we call them the symbols. So I was definitely not going to pass that test, but using flashcards got me through. And then when I was doing a French test a few months later, I thought, oh, I should use that same thing from chemistry. And it was so helpful. So I had on one side of the card the verb and on the back all the conjugations to really get me ready for my tests there. Now for you, this is going to be something you can do, but you don't have to write them on cardboard like I used to. We have some websites, and one really good one is Quizlet. So you can use it for new words that you learn, put it there on the back, have a definition. I recommend to a lot of students to also have some synonyms on the back, because the more that you are connecting words that mean the same thing, it's really going to help you with the reading section. Actually, all of the sections in the reading, it's going to help you to find what things mean the same. Listening as well, what you've heard, what you see in the answers. In speaking and writing, you want to show your vocabulary. You want to show that you have variety. So definitely knowing what words you can use instead of another one. So that's why I recommend that on the back of that flashcard that students put in some synonyms as well. It doesn't have to just be for words like that. It could be for other stuff for TOEFL. Maybe you're trying to remember some good transitions you want to use in the writing section. You want to think, okay, what am I going to start my second paragraph with? And you want to memorize that. So on the front of that flashcard, it says independent question, second paragraph, sentence 1. And on the back, you have that sentence there. Try to test yourself. I don't know why I keep doing this. I'm doing it like you have the card ones. I should be more like with my phone. Okay, I have my cards on my phone because it's a website. You can access it on your phone with an app, and you're going to type it in. You're not just going to have words either. You can, sorry, wrong slide. You can add some other things as well. You can add images, audio, and make them really, really interactive there and a bit more fun. So some words, they don't, I mean, you just have a definition, you don't know how to write it. So sometimes it's better have a picture there, and that's what you imagine when you see that word. So that can really help. So just go back again. Flashcards are so great because, especially with apps, they show you again after it's been a while. So you sometimes forget to review if they're just in a notebook somewhere and you just leave it in some place, then maybe some of the words you learned 2 weeks ago, you don't know where they are. And you don't check them again, and they fall out of your memory. So using a flashcard app, they have a really good function where, depending on how long it's been since you've seen that card, and also if it was difficult for you the last time with that card, they're going to decide when to show it to you again. So I think that it's great technology. I definitely have flashcards on my phone. I don't use Quizlet, so I want to try and use that one. I have used Cram and I also use Anki Droid. So let me think about which one is the best. I think it probably depends on you and which phone, which technology you like to use best. So that would be what I recommend, what's best for you. But most importantly, it's so great for you to put in the words that you need. These apps, these websites, they have sets of words that you can find, and maybe they are going to be great for you. But I think that you could be wasting a bit of time on words you already know. So it's great to be making your own cards. So you're just focusing on what you need and spending all of your time on that. I love to look at these cards as I'm eating breakfast, or sometimes my class is going to start in 5 minutes. I'll have a quick look through, and I won't always just think of what the definition is or what the word is. I'll also try to, in my head, say a sentence about it, because some of these words, I know them when I see them, but when I'm actually talking, I'm not so fluent using them. So I also make sure that as I'm checking my flashcards, I'm like, okay, let me see, has anything happened to me this week? I can make a sentence about that situation and this word, and really helps me to have them in my active vocabulary. Then I know I will actually use them in conversation. Sorry, I can't tell you what that says, because the last time I learned Japanese, I was in primary school. It was a long, long time ago, and I never got to this level. Just knew how to say my name and a few numbers. Now, on to another website that I definitely recommend to my writing group, my writing students, is Grammarly Academic. Now, you might out there think, oh, I know Grammarly, I have it. There are some different levels. Some people have the free Grammarly. Some people might have Grammarly, but just use it for work. Academic is what's going to be so helpful for you, because it's going to tell you what's happening with your writing to match with the TOEFL, to match with the examiners, with the E-rater, what they appreciate from your writing. They give you feedback, and yes, you have to pay. It's a paid product. However, if you think about how much it tells you in feedback and compare it to how much you would have to pay a person to sit there and read your writing and give you feedback, it's a very, very good price. It's a fair price, and you have it. So you can continue using it. For some of my students, they say that they want to work on their writing and they're going to spend 4 or 5 months on it. And I say, okay, well, this would be excellent for you. You can write an essay every day and get it fixed. You don't have to pay per essay, because once you have Grammarly Premium, it's yours. So you can write as many essays as you want and get all that feedback and work on your writing. Let's have a bit of a look at the different things it can tell you. So Grammarly Premium is going to tell you about your word count. It's going to tell you how long it would take to read it, how long it would take to say it out loud, your word length, your sentence length, and your readability score. This, you might think, what's that for? Well, in the writing section, we want to see that you don't have too many short words. We want to see that your sentences are long, most of them, and we want it to be easy to read, easy to follow. So you're going to want these scores, these ones, you want to work on getting them higher and higher, because that's the way you're going to get closer to the score that you need in TOEFL. So they're not going to tell you what your TOEFL score is, but you can look at this and say, okay, as I improve these, my score will also be improving. We can see that it has all of the feedback here it doesn't just give you the replacement, it tells you what is the issue. Is it spelling? Is it the wording? Is it punctuation? Do you need to rewrite the sentence? Is it the wrong form of the verb? So looking at this, you can know what your weaknesses are, and then you can research and try and do a bit of study with that. If you can see a lot with spelling, then you know you need to work on that, and you can get a spelling app. If you see that you're often having some issues with the form of the verb, well, maybe that's a certain tense that you're not conjugating for that tense well, so you need to review that and do some exercises. So really great resource here for you to be able to see what's needed and to also look at your style, your structure, your clarity. So this here is kind of grammar stuff, but they will also tell you about if you're writing for an academic style. Maybe you'll use a word and it's too relaxed, too casual. They'll say, how about something more formal? How about something more academic? And they'll tell you, like I said before, the readability, if your writing is clear, it's easy to understand. So really great stuff from Grammarly there. Now, let's look at how they all fall under these categories. All of them help with your TOEFL score, like I said. Memory, more specifically, Quizlet and Glossika are really helping with that. Like we talked about, repetition, repetition, repetition. That is something we really need to get things into our long-term memory. For vocabulary, LingQ, Quizlet, and Glossika, all very great to help you with that. Academic writing, we've just got the Grammarly for that. Well, it's enough for that. And then for fluency, we have LingQ, Quizlet, Glossika, and Grammarly as well. Fluency in terms of the different skills. So reading fluency, speaking fluency, writing fluency there, that you're able to do these without too much of a problem, that you're feeling confident with these different areas. So I hope that you have enjoyed learning about those, and now you know how to strengthen your TOEFL studies. You're not only going to be looking at TOEFL tests, you're going to know what you can do outside of that, and you can improve your weaknesses. You're going to work out what they are and then use these resources to fix them. I mean, with Grammarly, it tells you which those weaknesses are. So these resources tell you what they are and help you to build your confidence. It's so important to build your confidence. If you just look at TOEFL tests all the time and think about scores, then it can be not so great for your confidence to just think scores. Wait, I got 1 point more. Oh, I got 1 point less. So it's also good to have this other stuff, this more extensive side of things, where we read and enjoy it and we feel good. We say, oh, I was able to completely understand that, or I was able to remember this, I was able to say that. And all of that confidence is going to do wonders for your skills and for how you perform in your second language. I definitely feel that like I said, now that I am a teacher, now that I have all of this knowledge of what resources to use, how to use them, that learning languages now, I feel so much more confident. In high school, I learned French. I never really knew what to do outside what my teacher gave me. And it wasn't enough time in class, and there wasn't enough that I was doing outside. And never really got to the stage where I was confident. But I started learning Spanish after I became a teacher, and I knew so many websites, I knew so many tricks and tips, all the things I told my students, I tried on myself. So all of you out there you should be definitely looking for all the things that you can use and make the most of them, because it's not just talent, it's about putting the time in and using the right things, the right resources. So if you want even more resources, please book a class with me, half-an-hour class, and we can talk about what are some of your weaknesses, what type of document, file, website, app is going to suit you and be a great idea for you to improve. Okay, so that'll be all. Thank you for watching. Bye.